limiting myself here and doing some speed typings of people that I have already kind of superficially typed. I'm doing Sophie Thatcher, who I think I'm leaning 9w8 probably social last. 4, she's from Yellow Jackets. She's very captivating. I remember the first time I saw her on Yellow Jackets, I thought, oh, she's probably some 479 iteration with social last, just based on looking at her. I think she's probably a 9w8, 7 and 4 fixes. Again, I think sexual self-pres or self-pres sexual, there's, I don't know, a specific look and aesthetic. She's kind of grimy and hot and otherworldly. She's kind of got like a Kate Bush sort of thing going on. So I will watch a little bit of her and then see if we can keep this under 15 minutes with her typing.
All right, I'm Tessa with Mama's Geeky. Thank you so much, Sophie, for taking the time to talk today. This movie absolutely terrified me. I came home from the screening, I turned all my lights on. I was like,
really?
No, I'm scared. I closed all my closet doors and double checked them. But I'd love to know what your reaction was to first seeing the film.
I was scared watching myself because I think every actor is scared of that. But I think 10 minutes into it, I was like, no, that's.
So right out of the gate, she's universalizing 9 or attachment, but also she's getting more specific to her experience.
Sadie. And because it was so well done and so well shot, I was able to take myself out of that. And it's interesting, like, knowing everything that's going to happen, yet still being surprised during your first time watching it. It was really special. I felt proud, and I think we're all proud.
Yeah.
She's got an expressive face, probably head second. But she does seem like a gut type kind of, and she seems like not bereft of assertiveness. So this is why I'm leaning 9w8. She also has a kind of grungier aesthetic, which also puts her in 9w8, even if regardless of her stacking. So she doesn't quite look as dead-eyed as an SPSX 9w8. So I'm leaning SXSP. She has energy and something's coming out of her, and there's something like going on with her here.
Yeah, it's really, really, really good. But what is the pressure that comes along with, like, this is a Stephen King story.
There's a lot of pressure, but then there's also, like, we know that because it is a Stephen King story, it has well-written characters. It is going to be terrifying no matter what. And we had his thumbs up from the get-go, so that just felt like we could go into it safely.
Well, that's interesting. Again, that seems like an attachment core concern. Like, who gives a fuck if Stephen gives his consent? But maybe that's some forfix stuff of like wanting it to be real or something. But interesting.
I just hope to make him happy.
Again, attachment. I'm not ruling out 6 now, actually, that she said this for her head fix, but we'll just see.
So it's definitely daunting knowing that it's a Stephen King story because he's the king of horror, but also kind of just like nice to know that.
One of my favorite things was like the sisterly bond.
Okay, he's the king of horror. I don't think he really is anymore. Stephen King sucks now. I used to be obsessed with him when I was little, and now he's like a fucking like old Twitter hag. But if you watch her body language too, she's doing this sort of kind of, I think, 4 fix sort of, and could even be like SX with 4, sort of like kind of positioning herself constantly as being this sort of sullen, hot kind of frustrated object.
And I'd love to know about your relationship with Vivian, because she is just phenomenal.
Vivian is a genius. We were just doing press all day, and she's more articulate than I am, and she answered most of the questions. I love her so much, and I've never had like a younger sibling, and I was scared going into it working with a younger actor. But she's just,
Again, more attachment concerns. Like, I didn't have a younger sibling, so I don't know how to deal with this situation. I think she has a twin sister, but
and she's so smart. She's so empathetic. She's so present too.
Empathetic, present. These are 9 buzzwords.
Actor, which kept me on my toes. It was just refreshing to work with her.
It's one of the things I love about your character. She does kind of feel like that combination of like she's in between the child and the adult. She's that middle ground, you know?
It's awkward.
Yeah. Can you just kind of talk about like finding Sadie?
Do you watch that? Like she sort of does this like and then sort of like resets to like this kind of sullen energy. I think that's like sexual self-pres with a 4 fix, like 9-4.
How are you, Sophie?
Hi, I'm good. How about you?
I'm good, thank you. Huge congrats on the boogeyman.
Just the way she holds herself, it's like not SX last. It's very like soft and coy. It's like she's not flirting with this chick on purpose. It's just her instinctual playground. I think it's just her instinctual setting, environment that she exists in.
I swear I've not been able to look at doors in the same way. So for that new fear.
I'm sorry.
You're forgiven. I really have to pluck up the courage.
You're forgiven. She wasn't serious. And also, did you catch that little ounce of side eye? That's some 4-wing 3 or 4-wing 5 shit right there. I think she's double withdrawn. So 9-4 makes so much sense to me. Is she 7 head or 6 head? I'm still not 100% sure though.
I'm so freaked out by them. I was wondering, do you have any irrational fears?
I had this like fear of my curtains growing up. There were like these elves in my curtains that I made my mom take down because I thought they were haunted. I also had a fear of rugs because my mom told me a scary story of like rugs collapsing onto a person and killing them. Those are like my 2 top like random.
So yeah, I'm leaning 9-wing 8, 7-wing 6, 4-wing, not sure, but it would give her triple reactive like access in her entire type. But I think she's 9-wing 8, 7-4 versus 9-6-4, which is way more droopy and Eeyore-ish, and she seems kind of light enough. But I think social last is sort of removing some of the lightness, if you will. And she's talking about, interestingly, like kind of the fear center, which you could say is head type shit. But I definitely, what I'm getting from her energetically and visually is 9-wing 8.
Like, oh, like that doesn't make sense. Fears.
I get the elves. I had a rocking horse in my room and that freaked me out at night.
Well, no, because when you like turn off the lights, it can just look like a figure, and that's why you can't have clothes.
Also, I will just say, as someone with these elements in their own personality and just watching a million interviews, trying to understand my own typological makeup, this seems to be somewhat of a common theme where there's like imagination overload, hallucination overload, where it's just like you see shit that's not even like there, especially when you're a little kid, and then it sort of gets like beat out of you as you're growing up, and then you can tap into it again when you're older.
Hanging on a door because you like the lights are off and it just looks like a blurry blob.
Yeah, I completely relate to that.
Do you? Do you? Do you relate to that? Do you relate to that, Rebecca?
I don't think I'd.
There's the 4 right there. That's that. This girl does not relate to this. She's just claiming to relate to that. And it's her 4 disgust response is like making this the funnest thing ever to type. And I don't think she has social in her dominant stacking aspect, so I think she's probably not even aware that she's doing it.
Last a second if I was spicing
But then she kind of resets to, okay.
into a horror movie. Who out of your Yellow Jackets co-stars would you choose to be stuck with if you were in Sadie's shoes?
If I were in Sadie's shoes, probably either Liv or Jasmine, because they're the most resourceful, and I'm just not that at all, and they would take care of me, essentially.
How will
Yeah, it's more kind of like 9 stuff, I think. Like, I need somebody else to do it, and also probably with a 4 fix.
do you think Natalie would cope in the boogeyman though?
Interesting question. They're so different, and they have such a different way of like coping. I feel like Natalie is much more like,
The way that she expresses herself to me also seems like not sexual last. Like she's kind of bringing you in with her expressions in each moment. I'm just trying to figure out what her wing is. I think she might be 4-wing 5 fixed. Over 4-wing 3. She just feels extra grimy and disinterested. Like she's doing the 9 attachment core shit, but I don't know. It's kind of sometimes hard to express where you can see wings, but this is a speed typing, so take it or leave it. I don't see 4-wing 3 for her. She seems kind of almost too grimy. It's like I can see 9-wing 8 and 4-wing 5 overlap a lot here, and sometimes 9-wing 8's mistype is 4-wing 5's because of this overlap. And so I think that she kind of has the double grime and social last. It's just like triple grime, actually. She's very beautiful, but she feels like almost like an ethereal underworld fairy. Like it's like a grime pixie. So I'm typing Sophie Thatcher, sexual self-pres 9-wing 8 with 7 and 4 fixes. This is a speed typing, so it's not like super in depth. I think that 4-wing 5 in the heart center, and it could be 7-wing 8 or 7-wing 6 in the head center. I'm just gonna lean 7-wing 6 because she does seem like she'd be fun to hang out with, and she's funny and self-deprecating-ish. So that would make her 8, 6, 5 shadow type. So she has triple reactive. She has triple attachment. She has triple fantasy going on in her makeup. So she's got a lot, and she's also social last, I think, which makes sense for her aesthetic. I think she's sexual dom. This is like literally just based on a vibe. And I don't think she's self-pres dom just based on looking at her photos. She seems to be the center object instead of like objects being the object. But I think that she has that kind of insular quality, that grimy quality that I think social lasts have, and is probably amplified by her core and her heart fix. So this is my speed typing of Sophie Thatcher, the beautiful grime fairy of Yellow Jackets.